My name is Evelyn Smith, and this is my speech for Communications 110 Public Speaking, titled Cultural Defense from Early America to Current America. The purpose of this speech is to inform everyone listening that a large part of American culture is the people's defending of their land and freedoms. From early America to current America, American citizens' blood, sweat, and tears have been spilled in defense of their country, values, and freedoms. This is a large part of cultural practice in America, to defend values whether communally or individually. Quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same, or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free." Quote from Ronald Reagan. This quote supports the thesis statement that the enduring defense of national freedoms and values, both individually and communally, have been a significant and persistent element of American culture in the past and in the present. This is backed up by 3 points: community defense in the beginnings of America, individual defense in the beginning of America, and both methods of defense in current America. These points are very relevant to modern America, which must remember this cultural practice and put it into practice. There were 2 main ways of communal defense in early America. The first was the local militia, and the second way of communal defense was the army in early America. The local militia was a large part of early American culture in terms of communal defense. It consisted of smaller groups of men that often used cat-and-mouse tactics in war to help aid the army and to make surprise attacks against the enemy. The army was the largest part of communal defense in early America, and it consisted of different regiments and ranked officers that defended their values and country in battle. They sacrificed themselves working hard every day just so that their country could be free. There were several ways of individual defense in early America. 2 large ways of defense were from one's own home and espionage or spying. Many citizens chose to defend their freedom and land from their own homes. They would do this by helping wounded soldiers, refusing housing to enemies, and keeping enemies off their land with ambushes. Another way individuals could defend their freedoms was actually through the army with espionage or spying. For those who had enemies quartering in their house or town, they would spy and send writings and plans that the enemy discussed to the army. This helped the army by providing them with specific intel and information needed to be one step ahead of the enemy. There are very popular ways of communal and individual defense in current America. For the first way of defense, going into a branch of the military is very common and a great way for people to defend their country. For the latter way of defense, voting is the main way that the everyday person can support their country through defense of it. Many people choose to join the military for defense of their country. With all of the branches, they span across America and do their best to keep every section of the country and its values safe. For the individual citizen, voting is a large part of what keeps freedoms and values alive. Without voting, a citizen would be forfeiting their freedoms and therefore not defending their country. In conclusion, throughout early America to current America, individual and communal defense has always been a large cultural practice. From militias to showing up at voting booths, the American people will always continue this tradition from over 250 years ago. The enduring defense of national freedoms and values, both individually and communally, has been a significant and persistent element of American culture in the past and in the present. Defending freedoms and values is such an important American cultural practice. Ignoring and refusing to carry out these practices is a terrible risk of losing the freedoms and values that Americans hold so dear. Americans must continue to fight for their freedoms to continue this beautiful country. Thank you for your time.